What's up, y'all? We're back with another episode of Hoopish, and I'm so hyped because we have a very, very special guest here with us, a self-proclaimed real bad bitch. That's how you refer to yourself, the one, the only, Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor, thank you for joining Hoopish. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, we're so hyped. Yeah, I guess to start off, I had to ask this question for the girlies. When did you become a real bad bitch of the sports media industry?
Well, I think it, I hate answering this question this way because it sounds so disingenuous because it's like, oh, you were always just this confident. I wasn't. I wasn't always this confident. I think that over time, you sort of hit your stride and you get to a place where you feel very comfortable in expressing your personality and speaking truly from inside and not that voice in your head that's like, say this because this will sound better. Or you don't want to upset anyone, or, how are they going to react to this? I think through reps, you get to a place where you feel comfortable in that sense. But I do think that a big stride that I hit in my career was when I was doing radio in Miami, because I really had a lot of space to be expressive. I mean, 4 hours is a lot of time to fill on the radio side. So doing a 4 hour morning drive show with my partner Zaslow, where we had, a lot of creative leeway and a lot of time to fill, really helped me develop not just my confidence as an on-air personality, but also just a stride and like, I can really do this. That's a lot of time to fill, and to not just fill it, but to do it well and to have, fans respond to it. And, people to this day still talk about that show and like, oh, I miss you on the radio in Miami. Like, to me, being, almost 9 years removed from doing radio in Miami, that's 8 or 9 years. That's a big honor to hear that. And so that was really the time that I felt like not only did I come into my own as a personality and, in the media space, but I also really gained the confidence that, I'm pretty good at this. I'm okay at this.
Damn, super disappointing to find out like the key to becoming like a real ass like media bitch is just like repetition and hard work. I really thought you were just gonna give me like one little like quick tip and I was gonna be good. So thanks a lot for that.
No, it is. It's all the cliches are true, right? Like that's why they're cliches. You have to have the thing. And I truly believe, it's like everyone's special, no one's special. Everybody does have a thing. It's a matter of finding it. It's a matter of believing in it. It's a matter of surrounding yourself with people who also believe that you have the thing. And then also putting in the work so that you can one day show the thing. Everybody has a unique, special thing, has it, but it's harder for people to tap into it for various different reasons. And maybe they don't want to share it, and that's fine too. But yeah, I mean, every overnight success was 10, 20 years in the making. When you get into the stories of, oh, I've never heard this person before, like they just popped on the scene, like, no, I've been doing this for a very long time. And it's because all the work that you put in has allowed you to be in this space where things open up. So yeah, it's hard work, it's repetition, it's, taking the extra jobs, it's doing the extra prep. It is all that. All that allows you to express the thing that you're great at. And all of the greats, I love to study greats and what they do. And a lot of it is just the boring stuff.
Yeah, I mean, work speaks for itself. You know what I mean? No, I love that. And that's like great advice, especially for women in sports, the girlies. I know I was taking notes, mental notes, as you were saying it. Amazing. Well, this is a hoops and culture podcast. We would love to talk basketball with you. I know one thing I haven't stopped thinking about actually at all is, did you see emo Jimmy?
I
Jimmy
did.
Butler? Yeah, what was your reaction to seeing Jimmy in a Fall Out Boy music video?
Well, as you guys know, I'm a Heat fan. So you can't tell me anything about Jimmy Butler. But but also it just warms my little millennial class of '04 heart.
Yes.
I I think And listen, I'm not one of those like Gen Z sucks, blah, Gen Alpha, whatever. Like, of course, there's going to be stuff that we get that, 10, 12-year-olds don't understand as they should. Like, that's fine. But it's so funny and real in the sarcastic sense. I don't know if that's making sense, but like the
Yeah.
satire of it is perfect. And
Yes.
and I absolutely love it. So if you don't get it, you don't get it. But for those who do, it's excellent.
Wait, so you mentioned like back in '04, were you listening to Fall Out Boy and alternative music?
Yeah, I mean, that was at the height. I mean, I was listening to everything, and I still am. I'm one of a very like those weirdos that will go from like Afro beats to Miranda Lambert to
Yeah.
Beyonce to like I'm just whatever like mood I'm flipping to with my Capricorn ass is gonna be that for that moment. But when I was in high school, it was very cliquey. Like it was very mean girls. Like these are the goths, and these are the jocks, and these are the cute girls. These are the plastics, and these are the smokers, and it's like everyone was really in these cliques, and you had to appear as a part of your clique.
What was yours? What clique were you in?
Yeah. What?
I was a jock,
Label it.
so I played basketball, soccer, volleyball, and ran track in high school.
Oh,
But
wow.
I was also like I've always been a parallel jock and girly girl. So I was a jock and I won like most athletic senior superlative, but I was also homecoming queen. So
Oh.
Wow,
the-
subtle
the-
flex,
the
subtle flex.
duality.
Okay, wow.
we appreciate duality. So
Yes.
I was always sort of a crossover when it came to all of the cultural things that were going on during my high school years. But yeah, I mean, Fall Out Boy, what was it? Like Blink 182,
Mhm.
My Chemical Romance, Avril Lavigne. Like we all, even if it wasn't your thing, we all were like, that's kind of a banger. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like on the radio. Like that's so crazy. Like
Yes.
that like type of music was like on like the radio when you were like driving your car,
Yep.
like back in the day. Like
Yeah. No, so true. I love that. And is he the first NBA player to be in an alternative rock band's music video?
I hate saying first. I hate saying first because I feel like we
Yeah.
might be missing something.
Facts.
But certainly of the most recent.
mhm.
And yeah, but I absolutely love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I loved it too. I was happy to see Emo Jimmy make a comeback. And you're right. It really did like warm my like middle school alternative music heart, and I also love the Heat Wentz nickname and that too. I was
Wait,
like,
what?
wait, you didn't see that?
No, that's so
What?
funny.
You missed it?
No, that's mad funny.
Yeah, that's what Pete has been calling him is Heat Wentz.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I love it. I'm here for it. What did you think of Emo Jimmy? I know you're like an emo boy lover.
I'm an emo boy lover.
What? No,
that's my label. She gets to be like real ass media bitch, and I'm emo boy lover. Oh my god, love co-hosting this pod.
It's like compliment.
No, dude, it's so funny because I'm rewatching One Tree Hill with my girlfriend right now, and we're at the part where Pete Wentz is dating the girl in the show. So I'm like, I can't believe like 20 years later that this is like somehow like become relevant again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm totally here for it. I'm more of a Paramore type of girl. I absolutely. Do you love Paramore?
Of course. How can you not love Paramore?
Dude, Haley Williams was like my first crush. That's like when I knew I liked girls. Yeah.
No, I absolutely love Paramore. Wait, Joy, have you heard the theory of like, black people love Paramore?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
That is like a real thing. But it goes back to what you were saying though, of like, there's also this theory that when we were younger, we weren't able to really talk about it because it wasn't widely accepted. Like, did you kind of feel that way in terms of like loving alternative music and just being like, I can't really talk to my friends about it,
Yeah, because it was a very clicky time. And
Yeah.
admittedly, I have nieces and nephews who are of college age and one that is still in high school. And I'm sure there are still cliques and things of that nature. But I do think that social media has probably expanded people's ability to be like, oh, no, actually, I am the cool kid, but I do also like anime or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
you can
Hmm.
have a little bit more duality today
Mm-hmm.
because of the internet. You have at least access to things that are different than what your friend group is allowing you to explore. But that was not the case. So yeah, if you came out and were like wearing an ironic or not even an unironic like Fallout Boy shirt or something, you were gonna get bullied. And not like
Facts.
the not I don't want again, I don't want to be this millennial person, like soft bullying is terrible, but
Yep.
you're not getting through the hallways,
Mm-hmm.
stepping outside of your space. So yeah, I definitely think that that is part of it. Like now we're adults and we realize how stupid all of that is. We're like, no,
Mm-hmm.
Paramore had bangers. All of these bands were on the radio, we were listening to them. Good music is good music.
Mm-hmm.
What is the
Yeah.
another song that is absolutely protected is Carrie Underwood, When He Cheats.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I actually listened to that song the other day and I was like,
Dude, I
Carrie.
was like 10 years old in my mom's car, like in the backseat, like, I feel this shit. Duh,
Yeah.
Mark.
I had never went through any type of emotional heartbreak at all, but
I was like
I
10. I was like, no,
felt
I get
it.
this. I feel this.
That song is so protected. You're so right. You're so right. Oh
Dude,
my gosh, yes.
Don't nobody want to hear anything about that song. You know why? Because it's a good story. and
Yes.
and it's very relatable, but also she's singing on that thing, honey. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that
Mm-hmm.
song.
Yeah. No, so real. What are you
dude,
gonna
the
say?
funniest thing when you were talking about high school is you were like, you had to stay in your lane. You had to stay in your lane. And it just made me think about, you remember, this is so stupid. You remember in High School Musical when the one dude
Oh
cooks?
my
The
God,
Cobra
yeah.
Blue like cooks and they're like,
Yeah.
stick to what you do. It's just so funny that that's
Stick to the status quo. That was one of the songs in High School Musical.
I just start, oh my God, I'm choking. That shit just made me laugh. I haven't heard of that song and like thought of that song in so long.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I feel like the same applies with like I mean, obviously not, to bring it back to sports, but obviously athletes and hoopers and it's like I'm not going to lie, I would have never thought that I would have seen an NBA player in the music video of one of my favorite bands. Like when I saw I gasped. Like I had to take a minute. I texted it to you. I was just like this can't be real. Like Jimmy
I mean, it's cool because
Butler?
it's like a joke, just like when he did it for
Yeah,
media day.
totally.
Like, it's just cool that like NBA players can like have fun and shit like that. Like, I feel like
Finally, yeah.
15 years ago, like you couldn't like just like joke around. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's so true. That's so true. We also wanted to talk to you about fits. And, we know that you also do football coverage as well. We had a little mini kind of
Debate in the
debate
office
in the
today.
office today about it because I was like, oh, like, do NFL players really be putting on fits in the tunnel? I wasn't really privy to it. And then that started a whole thing of like, yes, they do. Is it harder to dress if
Yeah.
you're like a 6, 7 foot, athlete versus like a linebacker?
You're around both sports. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think that fashion has made an incredible crossover into sports. It's particularly
Mm.
high fashion that I find to
Mm.
be really thrilling because the more that entertainment, fashion, sports, movies, music all become this sort of ever flowing, moving globe of stuff that has all these cross sectionalities, it really creates more business. It creates more
Mm-hmm.
visibility. It creates a bigger fan base. I think obviously what happened with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce this year was, a phenomenon that could not have been manufactured by anyone, on the NFL side. So all of that stuff is really exciting. And as somebody who, is very liberal with expression and thinks that people should be who they are and have the space to do that, fashion being involved in sports is it always has been.
Totally.
Like fashion and particularly on the NBA side, as we know, like shoes is a given.
Yeah.
But you always had like the Jeff Hamilton jacket with Kobe, and you always had this parallel run with the NBA. I think now, and I don't want to give it to one particular player, but just a recent player that I think really helped push this over the edge was Odell, because Odell really, obviously being in New York and then just, being at the height of his fame and during the catch and all of that, and how he dresses and how he shows up, I really feel like that sort of broke not a barrier, but it really introduced the high fashion things that were going on with the NBA into the NFL. And now, yeah, they get fits off in the tunnel, just like the NBA. Obviously, there are different, various different body types that you see in the NFL that you don't necessarily see in the NBA because it's a different sport. But yeah, I mean, it's harder for the the different body types to dress in certain things. Like I do not envy some of these guys having to send this stuff to their tailors. Both of my brothers are very tall. They're 6'6" and 6'4" and both 240. So shopping, it can be a little bit of a stressful thing for them when it comes to trying to find, especially high fashion stuff. But yeah, I think the NFL has definitely crossed over into that space, and you're seeing more and more collaborations with players, with high fashion, with different types of fashion brands, different shoe brands, and all of that. So I love it. I love a well-dressed man. Please, okay, put that on. We love that. We love an intentional man.
We do.
Pico Dell was so different. Like, because like basketball, like, you had like Russell Westbrook, Rodman. I feel like people were always like a little bit more accepting of like basketball players stepping out because like we saw their faces. Like,
Facts.
I mean, basketball players have just been like wilding out forever. Whereas like in the NFL, like it is like a little bit more conservative of like a fan base and things like that. And then like Odell came onto the scene, like he was a giant. Like, bro, I was like in like high school for like Odell's peak, and like everyone in school was like dyeing their hair blonde, looking like dude, like that influence was like unlike any football player like I've ever seen. Ever, like period. Like in terms of like, dude, he was like living with Drake, and like he was like with like Drake in Europe during the summer, like just so different, like such a recognizable athlete, which is like kind of different from football. Like I could see like, I don't know, like I don't know if I would like recognize Justin Jefferson like at the bodega, but like so Odell is like was like that guy. Yeah. And now like ever since like even though like his career is like kind of like in its like waning days, like the influence is still there, like the Chrome Hearts cleats, like everyone still rocks with him so hard, which is like so sick. Yeah. I don't want to say like the Iverson of football, but like kind of like a parallel in the sense that like everyone else is like, oh wait, he stepped out and people rocked with him for it. I don't know. I love that. I'm a big OBJ guy.
Yeah. No, honestly, I wasn't super into football when I was in high school, but I knew who Odell was. Yeah. And I was like, wow. First of all, who is that man? And second of all, you're so right. Like I could see like classmates start to like dye their hair blonde and, rock the little like earring with the cross and all that type of stuff, and I was like, he's so stylish. No, he's so fire. That's so true.
He was super super influential. I think, not to diss the early 2000s, but I feel like in a lot of sports spaces outside of the NBA, we really used to celebrate big personalities. Like even in baseball, we consider baseball to be so conservative, and every time someone flips a bat, it's like clutching pearls. I'm like, do y'all remember the 90s at all? Like they were out here, okay, doing whatever. Okay, there was big personalities. There was a lot of stuff going on. Okay, guys were in each other's faces, like showing up with big personalities. And I feel like it was the same with the NFL as well. I don't want to. Hello, Prime.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
Prime. You're thinking of, I mean, really like all of the Dallas Cowboys. Like there's so Michael Vick, like there's so many of these like very influential cultural icons that we've seen throughout sports outside of the NBA. And I think it just really, it didn't take hold of the whole league the way that it did with the NBA. It didn't take hold of the whole culture of baseball. It didn't take hold of the whole culture of the NFL until recently. And I think Odell was sort of the recent catalyst for that, for sure.
Yeah. Has Odell been on the runway? Has he walked in a show?
I don't know, but he's sitting
Possibly.
like
I mean, he
front
was always
row,
at,
top
at
row.
Fashion Week and all
Yeah.
those events. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's certainly for this generation was an Iverson like figure. I would say overall,
Mm,
probably Michael Vick comes to mind as like the parallel to me for
Hmm.
Iverson,
yeah,
just because he played
totally.
the quarterback position.
From the same
But
city too, Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely it was a very interesting time being in high school and trying to figure out where you fit in all of that and what what represented different cultures of
Mm-hmm.
sports. But I will say the other things that the NBA has always had different than baseball or hockey or the NFL, is that one, you have the proximity of celebrities that are very visible courtside, which you've always
Totally.
had.
Hmm.
So you've always had big personalities who are unrelated to the sport, very close to the players, very close to the sport. You're thinking of the Lakers, you're thinking of obviously the Knicks, like you have that very close proximity. But you also have the shoe culture of the NBA, and
Mm-hmm.
they have a unique crossover in that you can wear shoes that they're wearing on the court out in real life. You're not wearing NFL cleats to the grocery store.
Nah.
Not very practical. So the crossover already exists naturally in obviously the emergence of Jordan and the influence that he really had on sneaker culture and the way that it exists today. So I think there was always a natural line that was easier for the NBA with the celebrity factor, with the fact that it's inside, like the sport is played indoors. You can get fits off inside, that you cannot
Hmm.
get
Yeah.
off at an NFL game when it's pouring, it's dumping snow. You have the big personalities of the ownership. You're thinking of Dr. Buss, and you have
Mm-hmm.
Madison Square Garden. You have all these different things and factors that naturally aligned with the sport that I think gave them the edge in the pop culture and particularly in the fashion space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about the Super Bowl this year when it was like Taylor, Blake Lively, Ice Spice, Lana Del Rey got in the suite? Like, I feel like that perfectly coincides with what you're saying of like celebrities. Cause I mean, I'm 27, so I haven't been alive, I guess, that long. But I feel like this was like the first Super Bowl where I was like, wait, this suite. Like, I want
Yeah.
to be in this suite
Like
with the
regularly like showing the
girlies.
famous people in the suites because like you watch
Yes.
like a Knicks game on League Pass in like November and you're gonna see like 12 famous people get a little cameo. Like that's never a thing in NFL games. That's a good point.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, what did you think of like Ice Spice and Blake Lively and all the girlies? And you're right, it was a huge part of the broadcast. I feel like as well.
Yeah, I think that the Super Bowl has become one of the biggest events in American culture now.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the allure of the Super Bowl that's helped it grow is that sports are the last thing that we watch on television live. Sports and breaking news. So
Mm-hmm.
elections, tragedies, things of that nature, and sports. That's all we watch live anymore. Everything else is streaming, everything else is on demand.
True.
And it's
That's so true.
created a very big divide between where we space those entertainments or those necessities in news as priorities for being somewhere. So because everything is recorded, everything is accessible for streaming, events have become exponentially more important in our, cultural landscape. Things like Coachella, the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
Art Basel, being somewhere where something is happening as opposed to just watching it because we just don't watch that many things live anymore. So the Super Bowl has separated itself being the most popular sport in the country, and they've pushed obviously to make it more popular internationally. It has such a, a gravitational pull on us as an American society that being there has become a very exclusive thing. I mean, I don't know if you saw what the ticket prices were, but they are
Oh yeah,
insane. They are
yeah.
nuts. I don't know how anyone affords to go to this event,
Facts.
but the fact that there are so many celebrities there. I mean, I was at the LA Super Bowl. And I was at the Phoenix Super Bowl last year. The LA Super Bowl obviously was loaded with celebrities, but it was the Rams and Cincinnati. So, it
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have as much of a story to it nationally for people who aren't into, they're the casual fans, I will say. The
Right.
casual fans.
Right.
This Super Bowl, obviously you had the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing, which brought in the Swifties, which is obviously a massive group of people and group of, what would be casual fans. But so many people that I talked to were like, oh yeah, my daughter, she's a huge Taylor Swift fan. Like they wanted to watch the game. They planned a whole day to watch Taylor Swift's boyfriend, which I like, I love. I think that's amazing. But I love women being involved in sports, and I love the sport expanding and more people being interested in it because it's something that I love. So I think that there's a lot of cultural and societal factors that are playing into the explosion of attention and attendance. I mean, Vegas was an absolute bleep show. Vegas was a shit show. I mean, there were so many people in Vegas. There were so many events going on. There were so many corporate events, so many pop-ups. Everyone in the world was there. It was absolute mayhem in a great way, but it was attended even outside of the game. So it's only continued to grow. And I think that a lot of those factors are playing a role in it. It's exciting to be somewhere where everyone is paying attention to this event that is happening live, that we are going to watch live. We're not going to record this. We're not going to see clips on the internet. We all need to be sitting down, watching this happen together as a American society. And if I can be there and I can be in the suite with Taylor Swift and Ice Spice, like a dream, like how can you can't manufacture that space anymore, because you can go to a Super Bowl. We can't go to the Grammys. We can't go to the Oscars. We can't go to the AMAs. We can't go to these things, but we can go to the Super Bowl. Now, we might not be in the same seats, but we will be in the same place. As these very, very famous stars that we adore. So it's a very interesting trend that I think is only going to continue to grow.
Yeah, no, facts. And last question about the Super Bowl, I had to ask you, what'd you think of Usher?
A lot of early 2000 references on this show today.
I know. This episode is very Y2K. I love it.
Yes, I love Usher, obviously. I thought the performance was great. I thought it was I'm sort of a logistics and media nerd, so I pay attention to how clean a broadcast is, or how smooth a performance is, especially when it's, live. I thought it was a great performance, flawless in execution. I loved all the different elements that were going on. I saw a couple people complain about there's too much going on. I'm like, sweetheart, it's Vegas. There can never be too much going on. And everything sort of came together. You have the bands. I loved the roller skating. If you've been to a Vegas show, a lot of the Vegas shows have roller skating acts in them. So even though obviously Usher did it because he loves roller skating, for me it was also a nice ode to Vegas, because they have all these acrobatic performers that do these performances on roller skates as well. So I thought it was brilliantly done. I loved Alicia. I loved the set list of songs, and he looks good. He went out there and gave us a performance, honey. I loved it.
No, for real. All I needed though was a Justin Bieber appearance.
Justin would have been nice. Justin would have been nice, but Justin is not giving us. He's not going to give it to us.
No, he's not, and I'm so disappointed. I was like, Justin, come on. It's you and Usher.
Even if he was out there for 15 seconds, that place would have went nuts.
Yes, exactly.
No free clout for Roger Goodell. Come on.
I know, but the people wanted it.
Yeah.
No, amazing. I love it. We wanted to definitely ask you about your, league fits. Starting five.
Well, you've brought up a lot of these guys and ladies that have had so much influence in sport, and that's usually a combination of you said big personalities, of course the fashion, self-expression, things like that. I would love to get your starting five of just athletes ever, in terms of on and on court field influence. You know what I mean? Which athletes? What are the first five that come to mind?
Wow, that's a great question. Okay, well, I'll start with this. I'm going to start with honorary mention Tim Duncan for the iconic Defiance. Okay? For the iconic defiance. If I say close your eyes and think of a Tim Duncan fit, we are all thinking of the same outfit.
The MVP trophy in the Burke sandals, right?
And I love that for him. I'm not even joking. Like, I love that he has just said, this is what I'm wearing, period, honey. This is what I'm serving. And I'm the big fundamental, and I'm going to dress as such. So honorary mention to Tim Duncan for the
Love
iconic
it.
defiance. Obviously Prime is somebody that you have to put in there. I think that's so tough. Odell,
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook. So that's two, three. That's three.
Yeah.
I feel like you know what? I'm gonna put Dennis Rodman in there,
Hell
Love
yeah.
that.
even though you may not have liked his fits. That was the point.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
he really was someone who always showed up as himself, regardless of what was going on, good or bad. So I would say Dennis. Mind you, I'm doing this off the top of my head, so please don't kill me because I need to think this through. I'm probably gonna think of 7 more as soon as I leave here. Yeah, I would say Prime, Odell, Russell Westbrook, Dennis Rodman. You know, I'm gonna throw Serena in there
Yes. I'm
for
here
on
for it.
for on and off court fashion.
Mhm.
She was always upsetting some people with how she showed up, which we always appreciated. So yeah, I'm gonna put okay, I'll put Serena in there, and then I'm expanding the list because I have to. I'm also gonna say FloJo. Okay, I have to put. I have to put FloJo in there.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
FloJo
love
was
that.
my childhood inspiration for everything because I ran track, and so she really set the bar for. And if you were a track girly, like you wanted to show up as FloJo, and
Mm,
that's why I'm such a big fan of Sha'Carri because she
yeah.
gives me so much FloJo all the time. But yeah, so I would say FloJo, Serena, um, Odell. Yeah, that's my list.
Yeah. And
Honorable shout out to
To
Timmy
Tim
D.
Duncan.
An honorable
can't-
shout out to Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan and Allen Iverson, just two different sides, very different sides, opposite sides of the
AI,
same
like,
coin.
yeah, you keep see. This is why it's so hard to do top 5 because
Yeah.
I like thought I was Allen Iverson in high school. Like I wore the sweatbands, like the straight backs. Like AI was wildly influential to our high school days. Iconic. So for sure, AI.
yeah.
Big thing about influence too is like, is it a flash in the pan or does it like stick around? Like Prime, still influential today.
Totally.
Dennis Rodman, like shirts with his face, like fly off
Facts.
racks with like, different even like high designer brands. Like
Yep.
Odell, even though like, he's not putting up like 2,000 yards a year like he did in New York, still like getting
Totally.
like Blitz Fits posts and wearing Chrome Hearts cleats are going viral. Like that's a big thing about influence. Like all of these people that you named, like even if like they're past their prime, no pun intended for Dion, like still like sticking around.
Yeah.
No, that's so
And that's
true.
that's the power of being influential, right? Like what happened with Prime this year just shows you how impactful of a cultural icon he was because
It is.
I live in Los Angeles and there's lots of opportunities to be around celebrities and big events and all that stuff. That sideline at the Colorado USC game, I am not
Crazy.
exaggerating. I have not seen anything like that in my life. I was like, who isn't here? Who is not here at this game in Colorado? Like, this is not the easiest place to just get to.
Right.
And and I'm here for work, so I know why I'm here. But everyone else is not being paid to be here, is excited to watch this game, is standing room only on the sidelines, and all of that is due to the influence that Prime had on all of us. And it's we throw the word around influence, like influencers, da 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 da. Great, it's great, and there are some still very influential people. But to be influential in a way like a Prime, like a Jordan, like an Allen Iverson, like a Kobe, like these there's no way to describe how much our personalities, of our identities, of our dreams, like what we aspire to that was influenced by them. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we didn't have access to celebrities the way that we do now.
Totally.
If you wanted to see someone, you had to be sitting in front of your television and you had to be watching them when they were on. If they happened to be on in your city, you are not just going to go outside and run into these people. You are not going to get to go to a pop-up. You were not going to be able to see them walking down the street or driving down the street. Like it was a hero worship and like demigods on a whole nother level that just doesn't exist today, because there's so many different ways you can be famous. There's so many different ways you can access
Facts.
famous people. The influence is so powerful for someone like Prime and Jordan and Kobe and just these Michael Vick and Allen Iverson. Like I can go on and on and on. I'm skipping lots of names, obviously, but it's really hard to explain how important these people are, not just to the culture of sports and pop culture, but still today, like one name, one word, and everyone's
Yes.
showing up.
Yeah. No, I was literally going to say that. You know, it's real, like historic, iconic level real when you go by one name.
Yeah.
Just one.
LeBron.
Serena.
Prime, yeah.
Venus. Exactly. Coco. Exactly. No, I absolutely love it. Yeah, no, that was so powerful. And I'm curious for you guys. Actually, I don't really like to look or put too much pressure on younger players, but like who in any sport do we feel like could have that level of influence?
Yeah. I
And
think Amp, but what do you think?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes for sure.
oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is already in that space, so he's.
He's got no swag.
Oh, what do you mean? They have kids wearing the headbands
You think
with the
you think
hair.
Yeah.
kids you
No,
think
that's
kids want to
true.
grow up to be Patrick Mahomes?
No, but kids were getting the Mahomes haircut.
Really?
That's true. Yes. Yeah, that was a whole thing. It was.
That's a thing?
It was a thing.
Damn, okay. Maybe I don't know
It
ball
was
as
a
much
thing.
as I thought.
I'm sure you can probably still buy them at Arrowhead. No, I mean Mahomes is. I don't know that I would consider him a fashion icon, but
Yeah.
he's a one namer, and he's he's the closest to Brady that we may ever see. Although I never thought we would even say that, so who knows? But he's iconic on the field and has some things around him outside that get discussed. But yeah, I would say as far as influence and certainly how people play the sport, what they're looking for. I mean, Caleb Williams is his comp right now is Mahomes. So he's already influencing the game in a very serious way. So I would say Mahomes. In the NBA is very interesting because I have a theory about this.
What's your theory?
I have a theory about this. It's going to be hard to have a singular face of the NBA moving forward for multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. One, I think we now have access to all of the games, right? Growing up, for me, you watched the game that was on television in your market. There was no league pass. There's no way for you to even get an opportunity to watch these other players unless they happen to be playing the team that is in your city, or if you go to a game, or if you happen to catch them on there. So there wasn't the same level of access to all these players. So the biggest players, I mean, I used to record Michael Jordan games and rewatch them on the VHS. So that doesn't exist anymore. You have access to so many different players. So you can be a kid that lives in Miami, but be a Russell Westbrook fan or a Kawhi Leonard fan or an Anthony Davis fan. You have access to all the players. So there's a lot more of a splintered fan base as far as this is the number one player. Like you ask any young fan, maybe they think Paul George is the best player. Like there's all these different conversations that are being had about who the face is. So to me, if you close your eyes and think of the NBA, like you're still thinking of LeBron. Yeah. And when I was growing up, it was absolutely Jordan. And then there was a time where it was absolutely Kobe. And to me, it's going to be very hard for a player, unless they are extremely dominant and have an extreme personality, to just take a stranglehold of the NBA, because Jokic is that guy. He is
Totally. Yeah.
dominant. He is winning MVPs. He is winning Finals MVPs. He's winning championship, and he is not the face of the NBA. Nor does he have any interest in being the face of the NBA.
No, big facts.
Giannis is incredibly dominant. Is won a championship, winning MVPs. He hasn't really stepped into that role. And it's not that it's like, hey, we would like to assign you as the face of the NBA. That's not how it works. You just are or you're not. And they haven't been. So it's also become a much more international game. I mean, both of these players I just mentioned are international players. So to be the face of the NBA in North America, I do think that there are different factors in how we as a fan base, as media, would naturally gravitate to one particular player in that space. LeBron has been playing for a very, very long time. He took that and has been able to hold that for multiple reasons. I don't know if we will necessarily see one face of the NBA, at least not how it is currently, because the most dominant player in Jokic is not going to be that.
Right.
And the other players that are in that orbit aren't necessarily going to step into that space. Joel Embiid, Giannis. KD is obviously someone who is up there, but KD's been in the league for a very long time and is certainly one of the faces of the NBA. But, he has many interests also that don't put him in that space. So that's my theory. It's a working theory. We'll see.
We'll check in again.
Nah, the Ant Edwards era just started. We went from the Jordan era to the Kobe era to the LeBron era. Anthony Edwards era starts today.
I'll believe that when he takes the All-Star game seriously. Personally. Wait, but do you guys think, I feel like the script is being written for Wemby to be that.
I don't know. I am kind of with. I do see. I'm just a big Ant fan, but I do. It is hard to see anyone like Wemby doesn't have the aura that LeBron James has or Kobe had.
That's so
I don't
true.
know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is tough. No, that's super interesting. Amazing. Well, we do have one final request. We like to do this with every guest. We believe that the best and only way to truly judge someone is to see their Explore page. So,
oh my God, don't do this to me. It's going to be a bunch of half naked women. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't know what's
Show
going
the camera.
on here today. I don't know what's happening today. Okay, well, all right. So here we go. Well, actually, this is not as bad as it usually is. Okay, so we have. I don't know. Can you guys see this? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have Beyonce. We have multiple Beyoncés, so that's good.
Love that.
I don't know who this person is. We have a Friends clip. We have. I really like this girl. So she does cooking. Her name's Scattered Mother. I don't know why she's yelling at me. I hate when the app does that. Okay. So she's cooking. I like watching cooking videos because I never cook. I can cook. Okay. Relax, men. I can cook. But I don't, and I'm a very busy person. Oh, and Curb, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, very, very sad. Very, very sad.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Sad news. Yeah. Yeah.
So Beyonce cooking.
Yeah. And then we have one girly on here. Listen, I like looking at beautiful women. Okay,
as you should. No, we don't judge here.
This is a much milder Explore page than is usual. Yeah, see, here we go. I refreshed it, and now you got the baddies everywhere.
Yep, the baddies.
Clad women on this Explore page. I don't know. The other one was lying on me, which I appreciate. But.
Well, cooking, TV shows, and baddies. I'm here for it. I love it. Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you.
That's a great question. I want to see a cut clip of everyone's Explore page.
Yeah.
That's a good social clip you should do because what was on Taylor's?
Oh, at the time it was a shirtless Jason Kelsey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was on hers. Yep.
So basically, you guys also two sides of the same coin.
Yep.
Shirtless like Sports Illustrated models, and then shirtless
Jason
Jason Kelsey. Yeah. Sway said we don't judge, but this is actually like the best way to judge someone.
Yeah, we're like, yeah.
If you like don't like, that's it should be like a first date thing. Like, just let me see your explore page.
Yeah.
You can really know what someone's about.
Yeah.
I'm not super judgy initially. Like, I don't know if I would be mad at a man for having, you know, like, how can I judge? We have the same explore page.
Yeah.
No, I'm the exact same way. Amazing. I love it. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you so much, Joy, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun.
Yay.
Thanks, gang.